News by Stefan Said. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman, back in New York City as we continue our coverage of Superstorm Sandy. One of the hardest hit areas of New York has been Staten Island. The storm killed at least 22 people there. Now, Mayor Michael Bloomberg has said that more than 40,000 New York residents have been displaced and need shelter. You know, that's interesting because more than 40,000 runners were expected to run the same number in the New York Marathon this weekend. Ultimately, it was canceled, but not because Michael Bloomberg wanted it canceled, the mayor. It was because his staff revolted. The New York police commissioner revolted. Bloomberg had insisted it would go on, to the shock of his staff. He had for, days resisted calls to cancel the marathon, saying he wanted New York City to show it could get past the storm. But Bloomberg's critics say the people of New York want to do exactly the same thing, get past the storm, and use the city's resources toward the recovery effort, not staging a giant marathon. The New York Times reports Bloomberg finally relented Friday night after New York City Marathon director Mary Wittenberg told him it had to be scrapped. So it ultimately was canceled. Hani Massoud, Democracy Now! Video producer, and I headed out to Staten Island yesterday. We're approaching the Verrazano Bridge. That's the bridge that links Brooklyn with Staten Island. Since '96, it has been the starting point for the New York City Marathon. But at the very last minute, Mayor Bloomberg said for the first time ever, the marathon would not take place. The mayor didn't want to close it. His deputy mayors and the police commissioner said no way, and particularly people on Staten Island said, you've got to be kidding. Staten Island is so hard hit by the superstorm. Many people are out of their homes. A number of people were killed. Instead of using the police and the generators as it gets cold for the runners and for the reporters that would be covering the run, they said, we need the help. And so that's why Democracy Now! Is headed to Staten Island right now. It's cold outside, so I'm putting on another layer, and we're coming up to a Hess gas station. There's a lot of people online, so we're going to check out why. So we're just checking out what people are doing here.
Horrible.
What's your name?
Situation's horrible.
Where do you live?
I live in Staten Island. Goodman.
What are you doing? Where'd you get the gas?
From Hess. Well, actually from FEMA. It's federally funded, so we're getting back our own gas. They're doing something right for once.
So
other than that, it's horrible. Situation's horrible. The mayor wanted to run a marathon. They provide generators in Central Park. There's people in areas without power, and what's the generators for them? Come on. I mean, the mayor, you got to be getting some money, whatever. You're a mega billionaire, so donate. Come down. Something, anything. No power, food, electric, gas. One of my co-workers, he's been without power for like the past week. His basement destroyed. He's got no heat, hot water, gas, electric. So he's staying with me for a while. I mean, what are you going to do?
Let's keep driving down the road. We're just on the Staten Island side of the Verrazano Bridge. This is actually Fort Wadsworth, where the marathon would have begun. You see the empty tents. We've got just hundreds of porta potties that are lined up here. Hi. Were you working with the marathon?
Off camera, please.
Okay.
No.
Okay. The New York Marathon people wouldn't talk, but maybe this guy doesn't work for them, and maybe he'll say something. He's security. Hi. So this is canceled? This is canceled, the race?
Yes, it is.
What do you think about that? You think that was appropriate?
Yes, it is.
Do you live on Staten Island?
Used to.
So why did they cancel it?
Well, because of opposition between people. Some people wanted to cancel, some people didn't want it. And there's a lot of pressure, I guess.
And why do you think it's a good idea?
It's a good idea because the mayor is supposed to be for the people of New York. And this is your backyard. You're supposed to take care of it.
And what needs to be done here? Can you describe what happened on Staten Island?
There's a lot of things. All you have to do is walk straight down here. And you're right here in the disaster zone. Okay, South Beach, Midland Beach, Ocean Breeze, everything. People out here with no food, no clothes, everything. Come on. And then you had all this water out here, all this food, generators. People need this. Hey.
Was the food and water and generators right here? Was it set up for the marathon?
The food and everything wasn't set up. Generators were here, water was here.
That's quite an image of generators here at the start of the marathon, but now down the road.
Right, exactly. But they woke up, they donated the stuff and everything. That was good. You have to take care of your home. You have to.
So you used to live here?
Oh yeah, I just moved last year.
To where?
To Brooklyn.
Are you thankful you moved?
You can say that. But I have a family that live in Far Rockaway, and they're going through the same thing.
Can I ask what's happening? What's the word of your family in Far Rockaway?
Well, they had to be evacuated. They're gone. We had to separate them. You know, some people had to get out of Far Rockaway to go to Jamaica, Queens. Some had to go to Brooklyn. Some had to go out to Long Island. Had to separate everybody. But making the best of it.
We just kept driving through the streets, street after street of mass destruction. So here we are on Father Capodanno Boulevard. We're next to the Atlantic Ocean. These houses are devastated. The smell of oil coming from one house, they said the DEP was supposed to come. It's frightening. Also, a car rode up on a wave in front of this house, but there's some kind of oil tank below that I think could be very dangerous. Here, the family of Irina and others are trying to rebuild already. Another car floated up on their property. The rubble in the backyard, their couches in the backyard, the water came about 10, 12 feet up.
My name is Irina.
So what did you think of the marathon about to be run down the road?
I was really happy they canceled it because we are staying over in Brooklyn, and if it will be marathon today, we don't have ability to come here because bridge is closed and everybody will be just stuck. Right. So we just continue working today because
they still ran it. They just helped. I mean, they still ran the marathon. They just brought like clothes and
some stuff
gloves.
Like gloves and garbage bags, which is we really need, some detergent, something.
You mean runners came?
Yeah,
and helped you.
Yeah.
We are in the shadow of the Verrazano Bridge, not a mile from the Fort Wadsworth, where the marathon was going to begin. That's where they had the generators, that's where they had the lights, that's where they had the electricity and the food, and the water was planning to come until, as she said, the community rose up and said, how can you do it for them but not for us? But more, she said, it would have meant the closing of the bridges, and that's how they're going back and forth. That's how they're beginning to rebuild. This is, well, just down the road from where lives were lost. We're moving on here in Staten Island. What's your name?
Steve.
Steve. So you stayed in your house through the whole thing?
Yeah, we stayed in the house.
Did you see the wave?
Yes.
What did it look like?
Oh, I came from my backyard, inviting people and stay in the car, coming in the car, and the wave coming here, and I tell to them the car.
And you saw people and told them to come into your house?
Yeah.
And you went on the top floor?
Yeah, on the top, on the third floor.
Whoa, watch out. Tell me your name while you're here.
Jose Garcia. I'm a retired police officer from New York, and we're here with family and friends from Brooklyn. Came over with hot food today because we know how hard Staten Island was hit. So we're just out here giving out our food and stuff so that way we can just help out as much as we can. I've been through September 11th. I was there for the bombing back in '93 at the World Trade Center. I've never seen anything like this. And I mean, everybody's coming together, and I think they're going to make it through this, you know? It's just going to take some time.
What about the issue of global warming and climate change?
I think it's changing. I think this may be just the first big one, and we may get something even worse as the years go by. As you've seen last year, it was a bad storm. This year got worse. You know, as the years go by, it seems like we're getting more and more, you know, destruction.
Do you think we have to change our way of living, maybe be less dependent on fossil fuels to stop warming up the Earth?
I'm not going to go there on that one. But, yeah, I think we should. I think we should find other means and ways of using other natural resources to heat up and for fuel and everything. Clean type of energy.
Climate change, global warming. As we end our report, I'm standing in front of a massive garbage dump that's made out of the refuse from the houses that once were here on the south side of Staten Island. We've got light here from a generator, but many communities still, almost a week into this catastrophe, Superstorm Sandy, don't have electricity. This dump is situated right next to the Atlantic Ocean, whose sea level is rising every year. I'm Amy Goodman for Democracy Now! And special thanks to Democracy Now!'s Hani Massoud. During our time on Staten Island, we saw only one Red Cross vehicle. On Thursday, the Staten Island president, James Molinaro, openly criticized the Red Cross relief effort.
I've got to tell you, as the borough president of Staten Island, over 500,000 people, I am disappointed in some of these non-for-profit organizations that collect large amounts of money from Staten Islanders and didn't respond. And one of them being this American Red Cross. I have not seen the American Red Cross at a shelter. I have not seen them down South Shore where people are buried in their own homes, had nothing to eat, had nothing to drink. And yesterday, touring the South Shore with the mayor, the neighbors down there that didn't have electricity managed to put together pots of soup, and they were distributing to the people down there whose homes were just destroyed. And the American Red Cross was nowhere to be found. So all the American Red Cross, all these people making these big salaries should be out there on the front line. And I am disappointed. And my advice to the people in Staten Island is do not donate to the American Red Cross. Let them get their money elsewhere.
Yes.